Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back. So this week I thought we would do something kind of fun and different, and I'm going to share categories that I love selling in online and a really quick chat about each category of why I love it so much. And then I'll share pictures of some of the items in each category and what they sold for. Hopefully that's not going to be too loud. I definitely need the fan on. I feel like I'm overheating today. Okay, so I thought it would be fun to share with you the top categories that I like to sell in online in my shops. And if you're new here, welcome. My name's Jackie. I'm a recovering addict, and I found a passion in selling items, mostly pre-owned, vintage, handmade, online as goodie stash in my eBay and Poshmark shops. So I will say this, I love selling vintage, and I know vintage can be a very long tail item. I have to wait for the right buyer to find the piece and that we can agree on a price that's fair for both of us. And I want to say this, when you look at some of the solds that I put up, your immediate reaction maybe go one of two ways. You may think that's an awfully lot for a pre-owned item, or you may think, oh, you could have gotten a lot more for that item. In either case, I'm happy with what I charge because any transaction I have, I want it to be a win-win situation. So I want them to feel like they're walking away with a great piece at a price that is affordable, and it allows me to go out and find more pieces under normal conditions. Yes, with the pandemic, it's a little different. We won't get into that, but yeah, so it allows me to continue to do what I love. As items move out, I can use that money to acquire more items and so on and so forth. And I will say on Poshmark, I do charge my buyers less overall because Poshmark is my absolute favorite place to sell, and eBay has always been secondary. eBay is nothing to ignore because eBay has almost within the first 6 months I was working on eBay and I opened my shop and I started posting items, almost in that amount of time, it was able to surpass Poshmark most months. So eBay is nothing to ignore, but Poshmark is still my favorite, and I spend the vast majority of my time on Poshmark because I love it so much and I don't feel like I'm working when I'm on there, whereas when I'm on eBay, it feels like work. It doesn't flow naturally to me. So I'm happy to give my Poshmark customers a little bit of a better deal, also because I know they don't have the option to return the item, so they're taking a bigger risk. eBay, they have the option to return, and they do return, and so that's more of a headache because then I have to drive to go pick it up and so on and so forth. It's all part of doing business, but that's how I choose to operate. Okay, so if you see me looking down, I have a little bit here to keep me on track. Something to note that probably is a little abnormal for somebody that sells online and has an online store. I'm not extremely driven. I'm not extremely motivated by money. So I'm more of a purpose motive. Take two. I'm more of a purpose-driven individual. So what motivates me is the fact that I'm able to find these kind of quirky, unique, interesting items, whether I'm repurposing them, whether I'm selling them as is, whether I'm kind of refurbishing them in some way and like bringing them back to life. That's what excites me because I'm keeping it out of the landfill. I'm finding it a new home where it can be reused again. So then I'm able to take my earnings and use that money to shop in charity shops and mom and pop shops that do a lot of work in our local community to help the homeless, to help those in domestic violence situations, to help children that are hungry and they don't have enough food. All of these sorts of issues, along with the sustainability factor, that is what drives me. I like having a new purpose, and I like that I can actually be a contributing member in my community. And my hope is to build up my stores enough so to where then I'm able to maybe start doing more outreach in my community. And those are things that excite me more than the dollar amount. And I'm sure my husband or other people might wish I was more profit driven because that would be a more simplistic approach. But that's just not how I operate. So please know that about me when you're looking at some of these. And also I like to mix high and low end items in my closet. I like to have low dollar items so that people can bundle them with the higher priced items. So my strategy is I price my items on the high end and I just let them ride. I see what happens, and that allows me the flexibility to be able to work with people and to send offers and to accept offers more freely. So enough chit chat, let's go ahead and get started. The first category that I love is bags. And it doesn't really matter. I wouldn't say, okay, not what you would think like designer bags. These are more like genuine leather, vintage bags, duffel bags, travel bags. Like, I am obsessed with selling travel bags. I just love, and it's not every travel bag either. It has to have some sort of element of style or uniqueness that kind of draws me to it. And the cool thing about selling these types of bags is they're often overlooked. Sometimes I find them in the corner of an estate and it's like it's been sitting there for years. So then I can just take it home, wash it, clean it, condition the leather, and it brings it back to life. And that's the type of stuff I love to do, which brings us into the next category, which is shoes. Shoes is another category where I feel like a lot of shoes get overlooked or kind of tossed to the side because somebody might pick it up and be like, oh, it has a little flaw here on the leather, or they might look on the bottom of the sole. And nice shoes, a lot of shoes that are high quality have a leather sole. And the thing is, when those get worn and somebody's not familiar with a leather, and somebody is not familiar with that, it looks very worn on the other side if it's been worn more than like 3 or 4 times. But that doesn't bother me as long as the upper looks good and there isn't any significant damage. I will grab leather shoes, I'll bring them home, I'll clean them up, I'll condition them, and just like the bags, I'll send them on their way. So again, yeah, it's nice to work with designer brands when I can find them, but I'm in an area where I really just have to work with what I can find. I don't find a lot of designer items, but now that I've been in the pandemic, it's kind of forced me to do a lot more research and a lot more online shopping. So I think in the future, I'm going to be hand selecting more designer pieces as I come across them, as I'm able to afford them, to put them in my shop and kind of experiment with that. But for the time being, I'm perfectly happy selling what I have around my house, most of which is things I've acquired from local estates, local thrift stores, charity shops, that it's based off style. It's a nice style, it's a nice quality, or it might even be a fast fashion piece. If I got it secondhand, I still consider that sustainable. So I might pop those pieces in there if I get them for a low enough buy-in cost. And if they're in good condition and if I like the style of them, I'll add those in as well. The next category I really enjoy selling in is home, which is a new category for Poshmark, but it's been on eBay since the whole time I was over there. And I will say this, I enjoy picking up home pieces if it's something kind of rare, something kind of unique, maybe something handmade. Those are what I'm drawn to, but I am starting to come to realize for myself that I don't have the space to store large bulky items, and also shipping large bulky items doesn't bring me joy. I don't mind doing it, but it's not like my favorite thing to do, let's just say. So I'm coming to grips with the fact that home for me is going to look different probably in the future, but if it's really interesting, unique, if it draws my eye, I take it. But I will admit that I don't think I'm a good home. Although I enjoy selling it, I don't think I have the eye for home goods, if that makes sense, because I'm not really like super into decorating and all that stuff. So I think it's a category I enjoy because it's a new category and it's something new to experiment with, but I don't think I'm gifted in that category. Let's just keep it short on that one. Okay, next up is blazers, another category that maybe doesn't love me back, but I do love selling blazers. If it's kind of an interesting style and it'll fit me and I can model it and kind of style it, even better. Otherwise, I try to do like an interesting flat lay or something to kind of show how maybe it could be styled in a more current way, especially most of the blazers I pick up are vintage, which I think the quality is really exceptional for what you get for that. And that's one of the reasons I love blazers so much. And I just feel like it instantly can elevate your whole look. You can just have a graphic tee underneath paired with some jeans and some loafers or even some sneakers, and then throw a blazer on, and it just instantly pulls the whole look together and like elevates it. So blazers are definitely a go-to for me, although they sit for a while and they have to find the right buyer. I still really love them. Another category that I think is often overlooked, specifically in the charity shops, is vintage belts. Almost every belt I pick up that's vintage, and either it's genuine leather, or even better, it's genuine leather and it has something cool about it, like this ammo belt that I picked up. That was really interesting looking to me, and they wanted next to nothing for it, and I just thought it's too good to leave behind. That's how I feel about the belts. Now, I won't pick up just more basic belts anymore. I tried my hand at those and that didn't really work out, and I've sold a few modern belts, and again, I wasn't too thrilled about those. So going forward, I'm just sticking to like the cool, quirky, unique vintage ones that I find. Yeah. So the next category is tops and sweatshirts. I'll just kind of lump those together. I tend to gravitate towards tops and sweatshirts more so than I do pants and bottoms. Not that I don't sell pants or bottoms, but I favor tops and sweatshirts because I like to model a lot of my pieces, and especially if it fits me, I'm more than happy to toss it on and do like a photo day. And that's one of the things I really enjoy about Poshmark is just, it's just creative. Like taking the pictures is just creative and I just enjoy it. And tops is a great thing to have because I feel like for me personally, when I'm shopping online, I pretty much know what size I am in tops, especially if the seller includes measurements, which I include measurements because again, they can't try it on, they can't return it. It just, to me, it's a lot easier than going and taking measurements when somebody asks. I like to keep it as easy as possible up front because I am a stay-at-home mom to a son who has a lot of special needs, so I can't be on my tablet all day. Like there's some days where I only check my messages one time a day, and so the easier it is for them to get all the information off the listing, the better for both of us because they don't have to worry about asking me questions. The material content is posted, the measurements are posted. So tops is like a category that I think it's really easy to tell if it's gonna fit just by one, like the description and the measurements, and you tend to just know what size top you wear in certain brands. So I know I sell more tops than pants, and I think that's one of the reasons. How many times have I bought a pair of pants online and it didn't fit, and then I had to take it back or I have to sell it now? With tops, I hardly ever have that issue. They almost always fit, even if I don't specifically like love the cut of them. They almost always fit. So tops, it's more straightforward. And that was a really long-winded way of saying I love selling tops and sweatshirts. Anyway, so I'll try not to babble on. But my next category is outerwear and jackets. So pretty much like coats, vests, that sort of thing. I sell a lot of camo jackets. I really love if they're army issued camo jackets or vintage camo jackets do well for me. I pretty much pick winter coats based on quality and or style, even better, both. And then vest, I just like vests. I think they're fun. I feel like there's always going to be somebody else that likes vests. They might not be super popular right now, but it's definitely a category that I love and I'll continue to love and I will continue to pick up. Next up, we have sweaters and cardigans. So sweaters and cardigans, I love picking up like vintage ones because the quality on them is really good. And I shop sweaters also, specifically vintage ones based on material content and style. The modern ones, it's more about style because if the material content on the modern ones usually isn't as good as it is on the vintage ones, because again, I don't find a lot of high-end designer pieces in my area. If I did, I would grab those, and I grab them when I find them. But for the most part, I do sweaters because I love cardigans. I've always loved cardigans. My husband says he always messes with me because I love cardigans so much. Like, that's just funny to him. But I've always loved cardigans. I've been wearing them since I was, I think, a teenager, like 18 and up. I just like them. They're great for layering. And I love all the different styles they come in, kind of similar with blazers. You can throw it on and it can kind of change your whole look, especially if it's like a long line cardigan or a duster cardigan, or maybe we can even throw a whole new category in, which would be kimonos. But okay, moving on. Three more to go, so don't worry, we're not gonna be hanging out all day. I know you get tired of me after a while. Next category is personal, and you may find this category helpful to look at for if you're at home like I am right now. Because of the pandemic, you're home way more, like all the time. Other than to take my orders to the post office, I'm just hanging out at home. So I'm going through my stuff, but I've always been doing it the whole time I've been selling. I'm constantly, why I love selling personal items is because when you buy something, you don't have to worry so much about how much you're spending, because if you're selling online, you know at some point you're going to post it, sell it, and then you're going to recoup some of the money you spent initially acquiring it. And I love this for Nico, for myself, for toys, for even home decor that we have that somebody might like. I've sold a lot of things on eBay that were personal items because they didn't fit with my Poshmark store, but it was easier to find Poshmark pictures. So all of these pictures I'm sharing are from Poshmark. And on Poshmark, you'll see more of my like athleisure type stuff because I'm constantly working out. I'm constantly working. I work in workout clothes and then I go work out, and I take really good care of my workout stuff because I want it to last. And so I don't put it in the dryer. I wash it inside out. And I'm constantly rotating them because after a certain amount of months, I'm just like, okay, I'm going to get something else. And then and the good thing about that is you can have a rotating wardrobe if you choose, or you can go the more minimal route. But I love it either way because no matter how minimal I try to become, I love shopping, and because I'm basically a shopaholic, but now it's okay because I'm selling the vast majority of what I'm buying. Because I'm like that, I naturally end up picking up pieces for myself when I see them because the cost is good. If it fits me, if it's a good quality, why not? It's like a perk of the job. So if you love shopping, you may consider just popping a few things on Poshmark in your downtime, and you might be surprised at just how easy it is to make a little extra cash while you're having this like extra time at home. Okay, next up is accessories. So this is a category I hope to get more involved with now that I'm learning how to sew. Something I've always loved is accessories, gloves, hats, specifically beanies, but I love selling vintage hats, wool hats, all sorts of accessories. And I feel like some of my quirkier accessories a lot of times go on eBay, which that's completely cool. But I'm posting what I found from Poshmark, and I hope in the future to learn how to make some accessories that are good quality and that I can use repurposed fabrics to just be that much more sustainable. So that's something I'm looking forward to with accessories. And accessories don't bring in a big dollar amount, but there's something that I feel like elevates a whole outfit or can change up a whole look with just a small change. And I like to have things at all different price points so anybody can shop with me at a higher cost and a lower cost. I just like to have that diversity, and I like to be able, and I feel like accessories allows me to include more people that are able to shop with me, especially going forward. If I can get even more accessories into my shop, that would be cool, because Sizes, it's hard for me to expand on sizes because I have a really hard time moving smaller sizes, and I have a really hard time moving anything over 3X, 4X really. So I pretty much stay in the medium, large, extra large, double X, 1X, pretty much that size range. And accessories allows me to kind of tap into other customers to confine my closet and maybe see some of my shoes or other items or bags or other things that they might be interested other than just my clothing item, which is more of like a specific size. And the last category, which is my favorite lately because like I said, I'm learning how to sew. So I haven't posted many because a lot of them I feel like the quality isn't good enough. I'm just learning how to make them. But once in a while I make one that is good enough to sell and I'll post it on my shop. Either it's been upcycled from vintage materials like this jacket that I hand painted on the back, and then I sent that off to a new home, which was just like the coolest thing ever. It was the coolest feeling to take something that wasn't garnering too much interest and kind of redo it, bring it new life, and found it a new home. Amazing. I also use Amazon KDP and Merch by Amazon, which if you'd like me to do a separate video on that, I can. But that's how I make these planners and notebooks and journals and things like this that, again, they don't bring me a lot of profit, but they bring me a lot of joy to make. And it's just one more thing that I can add to my shop to kind of bring in new customers and new eyes on my store. And not all of them are going to be winners or top sellers or anything like that, but it's something for me to work on and work towards. And I also hope to make, and I'm also working on making more handmade items for my shop, but I also pick up, my eye is just drawn to like handmade items when I'm out. And as quirky as it seems, something like this doll, whatever reason, it caught my eye and I brought it home, I photographed it, and I sent it off on a new home. I feel like I couldn't find a lot of my handmade solds, and again, a lot of them might be moving on eBay, and handmade is a slow tail just like vintage, but it's something that I really love, and so I focus on that because why not? Okay, if you made it till the end, thanks for hanging out with me, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I thought it was really fun to make. I had kind of a heavy week, so I just want to do something more upbeat and enjoyable, so yeah. All right, and let me know, what do you enjoy selling? Like, what's your favorite category? Or if you don't sell, did you find this type of video interesting to watch? And I will catch you guys next week. Peace.